Hi everyone, it's Kirsty from Adeline Country Cottage. Well, I accepted the challenge, that dollar bookstore challenge, to make a Christmas journal. My stress levels are high, let me just tell you. It was so hard to try and find stuff that were for $1 or under $1, and it's just been, real stressful for me actually. The only thing is that a lot of our $2 shops have all marked up their prices for Christmas. I've found it very challenging to find stuff that were even remotely in my colour palette for starters, but nothing. I did have one place, or $2 shop. They actually gave me items, these items, let me see, there was one more, and the paper, this paper, which is so gaudy, I can't stand it, but anyway, these three items, they actually they're all $2 each, but they gave them to me for $1, because I told her what I'm trying to achieve, and then she threw this in for free. Oh my god. Gross. I would love to paint this, but however, I couldn't even afford to get paint to keep to the budget of $15. Yes, so those were those that I grabbed from the $2 shop. This was from another one. This was $2, perfect for my colour palette. I've actually gone over budget. What came up trumps for me was Kmart. Can you believe it? This was $1. Okay, this was $2.50, but there's a pack of 40 in here, and they've got quite cute tags, Christmas cards in it, and a bunch of envelopes, so that's pretty cool. This was $2. Now I thought that perhaps I can use maybe for the cover, I still don't know yet, and or perhaps for pockets inside the journal. This was also $2. That was fine. The stickers, yeah, well, that was $1. Okay, so that's fine. The book, that was $1.50, I think it was, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to dye up those with tea. But hang on, can I dye it with tea? How am I going to do this when that's not even in my budget? So can I use the tea or can I not use the tea? Because I couldn't buy it from the shop. Anyway, this was $15. Oh my god, who would pay 15 bucks? 15 cents from Kmart, so that was fine. So I grabbed catalogs. They're free, so I'm hoping I'm allowed to use those. And this, okay, yeah, it says $10.99. I couldn't even get this in the $2 shop. This I had to get from an actual book shop, you know, from the QBD. This was $10.99, but they had the clearance on it, so it was half price. So I was able to get that. I love the fact that it's got the map inside, and the fact that it's a gold front, so which is pretty cool, you know. I do like the back image, although it's not really Christmassy, but hey, we'll see. The woman helped me buy, she went right through the whole store, the manager, to find a book that I could get that was perfect in size. But, you know, all in all, I'm already up on 21 bucks. Can you believe that? It was challenging. I don't even know if this is going to even be worth doing. I don't know whether to go and try another $2 shop that's up the road from my house, so, and perhaps take out some other elements that, you know, that were, I mean, obviously that one was free, but stuff that was a $2 item, like this, or, you know, or something else. I don't know. whether I can take something else. Oh, and there was also these stickers, which were also $2. Now, you know, I thought to even cover up after I dyed these, perhaps cover up the top part, 'cause I really don't like that. You know, these stickers, and maybe fill up a whole page. I don't know. This is the most stressful thing I'm encountering. I just, I don't know. I'm freaking out, actually. I'm freaking out. I don't know. How can I make something beautiful out of this? I'm really challenged. Oh my God. Okay. Let's go see if I can do something with all this stuff. Hi all, it's Kirsty from Adeline Country Cottage. Now, you would have seen the intro of what I had purchased. I was feeling flat when I filmed that section because, you know, it was really stressful trying to find the products for the Dollar Tree challenge. Now, Cara Brandon is running a Dollar Tree challenge over on her channel, of course with the support of Jessica, or from Jessica from I'm a Cool Mum, who started the challenges. Although Jessica's not running the challenge this year, Cara is. And yeah, so I thought I'd give it a go. We only had a budget of $15. However, here in Australia we don't have Dollar Tree. We only have $2 shops, reject shops, but the prices were bumped up this year. I've noticed there was a lot of things I couldn't find for $1, and basically I found it so frustrating and completely challenging to be able to do this. So my budget went slightly over. Well, actually it went over by $20, but then by the time you use the stuff for the journal, you still had a lot of stuff left over. So in that respect, I added a few extra things that I could use, which I felt a bit naughty doing that, but you know, like using the textured paste to add the holly to the front, and of course a few pages out of my watercolor book, which I had coffee dyed up. Now with the $2 shops, like the Chinese $2 shops that I used, I was able to find some. There were some nice people in those $2 shops, that things that were $2 or $3, they gave it to me for $1 after I told them what I'm trying to do. I also found that Kmart came up trumps, like big thumbs up for Kmart, because they had a lot of dollar items, which was great. And of course, my biggest budget was actually for the cover. I couldn't buy a hardcover book from any of those particular shops, so I had to go into a bookshop. I explained to my shop attendant that, you know, I need a book. It needs to be under $5. She did come across a $1 one, which was like way big. Like it was just way too big. And I explained that I needed, you know, this kind of size. So my budget for the book ended up being $5, which I was pretty gutted because, you know, I'd gone over budget. Anyway, without further ado, let me get stuck into it. Now, because as I said, look, I've used sari silk here as my closure. I mean, eventually I will use an eyelet and use it as a tie-off that way, but at this stage, I've just used that. And as I said, because I thought it was okay to use a bit of sari silk as a tie-off, because, you know, I didn't use all the products that were inside in the haul that I ended up getting. And so let's get started. So I've added some bells on the side. This was actually all one piece, and I've just glued that to the actual spine. I actually found like a little bag, which you will see in the intro, where I had this Christmas tree bag, and I've just cut it up and coffee dyed that and created the cover. This was inside a particular Christmas card, which I ended up just dyeing it and sewing that on. And these were some other embellishments like these, which I've torn apart, and I've used wire, made like a little wreath, and of course I've made some paper, I don't know what you'd call that, paper coils, I don't know what you call it. I did explain in my last video when I did my giveaway that I used the cover of a hard cover and dyed that in by accident, really, inside the coffee dye. But when I picked it up, it formed rolls, and so I've just rubbed like crazy, and which formed all of these curls, paper curls, or shredded paper. I don't know what you would call it. Anyway, scraps. And I've just used those to add, well, I rubbed really hard and turned them into cords while it was wet, and then I just sat them out to dry. So what we did was add those to the wreath. Beforehand I added some texture paste. I think because the cover was gold, it ended up turning the textured paste to this beautiful soft blue color, which I absolutely love, and I'm glad that it turned that color. And then later on I went over the top after collaging, and the pieces that I collaged was from the hardcover of the children's book. It tended to separate. It separated. Sorry, I'm just getting my basket of goods that I used. So, you know, with the cardboard, for some reason the clear white paper off the side here like this separated, and it became very paper thin. So I've used that because it almost went transparent, where you can actually see the holly underneath. So I've just decoupaged that on. Some fibers from the fabric that had come away. I've glued all that down, and of course, you know, I've just done that on the front and the back, and of course you can see the holly inside there as well, on the top, which stayed white, and I've just sort of distressed that a bit. Which I might add, I actually used my ink. Once again, I thought, you know, I can't go without aging up things, and because the papers ended up being really grungy for some reason, I think because it's really thin, it came up really grungy. So yeah, the ugly paper, the paper I don't like, which you will see that in a sneak peek in the previous video, how much I didn't like it. Anywho, we'll go step right in. These are my little birdies that I made from the insert of the book. I've just used, you know, some of the insert, and basically I drew the bird, and while it was still one sheet, I stitched around every bird. I just found it was easy that way than cutting it out, and it was easier to do it that way. Now, I did also mention that I punched out a whole heap of stars and used the stars, I guess you could call it my magic little birdies, because of the stars that are inside, which is punched out of the paper. Oh, sorry, that's this. Oh, sorry, this one. Yeah, so there was a whole heap of pages that I punched that from, and I stuffed all the little birdies. And they're those I don't know, the twirls of paper. Once again, I've used them for the tails. That's all this sort of thing. And then I just added a tiny bit of glitter on its beak, and I thought they came out super cute. And this little pouch that I've popped them in, that was, of course, there's some tiny little birdies. Aren't they cute? They're so cute. Little cutie patooties. Okay, so the pouch that I popped them in was the pouch that these were all stuck on inside the packet. So they all stuck inside there, and I just thought that was perfect, and that was the packaging for that, and I've just cut them down and stitched them around. So there's my little birds and their little home. So they sit in there. They can be hung on the tree if I wanted to hang them on the tree, which is great. Oh, look, it's just popped open. I will have to fix that. I decided to keep this journal because I was thinking of doing the December daily with this, and hopefully I will get that done by, I was supposed to do today. Maybe I should do a little bit of a journaling thing today, but we'll see how we go for time. These are from that children's colouring book. I just all fussy cut all of those out, so that I can use them for a tag or stick them throughout the book. This is from a gift tag. I did some stitching down the side. This paper is that watercolor paper. This is from the front cover of that that book, which is what I showed you before. And yep, I can't find it right now anymore. No, it must have fallen somewhere. So that's anyway the front cover of that plasticky stuff that I mentioned before, where I gave it a bit of a rub and got those quills from a little place, tuck spot, some grunge stamp, a little sign that I made there, more of that ugly paper, which we will cover up and get rid of soon. We've got a bit of stamping. We've got a bit of a tab here, another tab from that fabric, some more stitching, some of that Christmas washi, another one of my little birdies, and of course I've made a little booklet out of some of the packaging that I had purchased some of the stuff with. And in here we just have, again, another bit of activity from the activity book. All my papers turned out so grungy. I don't understand. I really made it really light, but for some reason it's come out quite dark, so I'm going to have to fix that up. And of course I was going to fussy cut those little deers out. And so it's just a little pocket in here. And that's that stamp, that hole punch, star punch that I used to make the insert, the stuffing. And we've got, why aren't you sitting properly? Okay, because it's gone down too far. Some more of that front cover there. We've got a tuck spot here. A pocket there, and there's a tuck spot up there. We've got some doily paper. Now, this originally I had purchased from a $2 shop a while back, so I thought that was okay to use. I made a little reef up the top here with some of the stamps that I had purchased in the haul, and just fussy cut that out and use some of the pages. Pretty much the whole book's very much the same. I've just added some extra bits inside. And here I did a bit of decoupage. Here was out of the book, and I've just stitched that, and it's just as to Chris, with memories of those quiet days in the vast room in the beautiful stillness of winter, which I thought was perfect for Christmas. Little pocket here and a doily, some gathering, that's where I flipped it upside down, and I prefer it this color actually. Look, it's pretty plain, but as I said, I'm going to use this and fill it up myself, and you know, and do that December daily pocket here with one of those cards that I've tea-dyed up, which I'll use for something. And here is some of my little holly that I stitched and made, drew them out, stitched them, and then I cut them out. I thought they were cute and I could stick them around, use them as tabs or, you know, as some kind of placement. Lined paper, another pocket, and there's some more of those little what do you call it, peggies, and I've just sanded them all back and gave it a bit of a grunge up. Bit of a flip here, more of that paper, some more of that stuffing because I wanted to stick those around throughout the stars throughout the journal. Now, originally this had planned to be only a 2 signature, but because I placed the holes wrong, and I just quickly want to say thank you, Jessica, from I'm a Cool Mum. After watching your video on how to do sew in the signatures on a piece of card or something, I mean, you used it with fabric, but, you know, that helped a great deal because I didn't want the stitching on the outside. And this being my first time I've ever made a hardcover. Now, this paper, yep, I put it in upside down. It was out of the brochure. I thought being free, I can use that. But unfortunately, I sewed this signature in upside down. Oh, yeah, well. And as I said, I put the holes in the wrong placement, so now it's got 3 signatures in here. Didn't like the pictures on the other side of this page, so I just sort of stuck in an extra piece. Just a bit of a flip out. Sticker, chapter 7, love the script. And more of that paper, lined paper, flip out, Palais Sister journal, some more of that holly, again with the flip out. I've just added these out of the packaging from what I purchased, and I just thought I can use those later on. And again, so a bit of stamping here, some lined paper, deer stamp, chapter 7. As I mentioned in my previous vid, that I love the script, so the scripted writing, so I thought that was perfect. And I wanted to stick that right through, you know, from chapter 1 being the actual book. But, yeah, I just wanted to stick it right through the whole book. The center of the signature here. And I've just made a couple of little journaling cards and pockets. Some stitching. And I made like a little library card pocket type style where I just pop these little bits and pieces in, these little stickers. I think they're really cute. I was going to cut these off, but I thought, you know, I could rub some kind of ink in there that can highlight that that plastic. So we'll see how we go with that. Again, with that ugly paper, that's why I stuck this on, so I didn't like the picture. Another stamp. Again, the children's activity book. And we got chapter 8. So another envelope pocket. Again, going through, I didn't like what was on this page. I still don't like this. Probably cover it over, but yep, covered over that. Upside down tree. Well, Americans love their upside down trees. I don't know what's with that upside down tree idea, but you know, I just thought, well, it works. For some reason it works. So that's the end of that signature. Next one. So we've got this, pretty much everything's virtually the same. I so wanted to add more to it, but you know, I'm louder. And this is the template I used for the holly. So I've kept that in there for future. This is another pocket with, you know, some packaging, and I've just popped that in there. Chapter 10, some more of my holly. And just some cards in here that I can use. And again with the pocket, I didn't stick this one down. It's sort of more of a little bit of a tuck, you know, so that can be used there. Again with the doily, paper doily. We've got chapter 11, another pocket. See how it looks so much better with it being that colour rather than the other side of that other cover, that book cover, being gold with the writing and so forth, like back in up here in the other parts. Yeah. Anyway, signature in here. I've just added 2 little pockets that you can flip up, and then I've made leftover of those bells from the beginning. I've just made those in some kind of tags, and both of these, you know, these can be sort of tucks up, and I've turned these into little booklets. Oops, little booklets, and of course little pockets in the front here. Which go through to, well, there's, you've got the tuck up the back as well, and then you've got another little pocket inside this part. So that's on both of these little booklets that I made, little places to journal. Another 24, because I think that's closer to Christmas, and stitching. This was the pack of cards that I purchased, so I just thought, well, I can cut these out later and, you know, maybe some of that snow, and put that throughout the book. We've got another pocket here, some of that ruffle gathering, again, from that dust jacket. The children's activity book. This was off like a little spray that I bought, which was to do with that, was attached to that. It just says Dancer Prancer, so, and with a little deer. I thought that was cute. And another pocket, some more of that gathering. See, it looks ugly now. I don't like it. I wish I had it the other way around. Again with the pocket, more of that watercolor paper. I just love how that turns out, actually. I think Cara did a journal with that, and yeah, it just, I get your meaning, where it feels like velvet. It's almost like a velvety feel once you wet it. And some more journaling space, and some more of that paper, deer. Again, and this is that bag where I've added some string that came off, you know, like this, but it was on the bells, because I ended up getting 2 sets, and I just stitched around, and I've made that into a little flip with a little pocket inside and a little book. So there's another place to do some journaling. And that is my Dollar Tree challenge. And it was a challenge and a half. I love how it turned out. I want this journal to be less of, you know, the reds and so forth. I want it to be more of this colour palette on the front. So I was thinking of doing, or if you're interested in seeing a process videos of using this as a daily, December daily. So yeah, so comment down below and let me know what you think. And I know it's the 1st of December today. We're in for some wild rainfall. I don't know if you've been hearing it over the news. It's supposed to get 2 months worth of rain in a space of 2 to 3 days. So yes, so let me know what you think, and I'm glad I did this. I know it was a challenge, I think, because also because I not worked with a hardcover, but because I've added extra to my workload, so it really put a lot of pressure to get this done on time. And I do have one first entry to put in here, and that will be to for my daughter's singing. She did Christmas carol singing with her showcase. That was on Tuesday. So I think that might be my #1 process journaling. So let me know if you'd like to see it. Otherwise, I'll just do it in the quiet time and maybe reveal later on towards the end of December on how it's turned out. So that concludes that. Again, I want to thank everybody for entering my competition. Love you all for doing that. Fantastic. Your kind words. Everything was brilliant. I also want to thank Cara for putting on the Dollar Tree challenge, and yeah, I think I'm glad I did it. It was fantastic. I enjoyed doing it, although, you know, I just wish I had a lot more things that I could have used. And hopefully my next video will be the tutorial on how to make those last couple of Christmas decorations that I showed in my previous video. So thanks for watching, and yeah, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit that little bell on the side so you get a notification of when my next video is up. And I will see you in my next video. Okay then, bye for now.